Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of I Survive for 100 Days in Hardcore Minecraft. Let's continue.
That I was scared for. The Ender Dragon fight. Although I knew I was going to be prepared, it was still a worry, because one wrong...
When your child is missing key nutrients from their diet and it's affecting their growth, try Pediasure for complete...
wrong move with the Ender Dragon, and it's all over. By day 38, I was fully enchanted up, and day 39, I pretty much spent doing some decorating around my base and getting some phantom membranes. I could use phantom membranes for potions of slow falling, which would be useful for the end. I also went collecting arrows. By day 40, I went exploring. At first, my adventure was quiet, until this happened. A village. I found some friendly villagers which allowed me to do trades. It took a while, but I was able to get a mending book, something which was a game changer for the future of this world. So I spent day 41 pretty much waiting until all the villagers were ready to trade. I then went with my sticks and got a bunch of emeralds, which ultimately meant I could go back to the librarian and purchase one of his mending books. It was day 44. I was able to put mending on my pickaxe and rename it. Day 45, Ender Dragon preparation was well underway, making potions of strength and also slow falling. I did brewing for quite a while. I wanted to over-prepare as much as possible for the Ender Dragon fight, just in case anything was to go wrong. Day 46, I did some last preparations for the Ender Dragon fight, going out to find some apples. The reason I got apples is to ultimately make golden apples, something which would be very useful for the end fight. Here it was, day 47. I walked around my base and gave it one last look, and I said goodbye, because it may be the last time I ever see this again. I gave everything one last glance, even my cows. To end off day 47, I got some rest. The next day was a massive day, the Ender Dragon fight. Day 48, I checked through my inventory and made sure I had everything I would need for the Ender Dragon fight. One wrong move here, and everything could be all over. Everything I've worked hard for so far. But that didn't stop me. I threw my Eyes of Ender in the air and I was ready to go exploring. At one point, I had to set sail across the ocean. It wasn't ideal, but it had to be done. Finding this stronghold took multiple days. In fact, the Eyes of Ender were pointing me in every direction possible, until I came too close that the Eye of Ender couldn't go anywhere else apart from directly above the stronghold. I dug straight down, and here it was. For day 52, I pretty much spent that day exploring the stronghold and was able to come out with some pretty good books. And then it was time. I prepared the end portal, and everything was beginning to seem real. I drank both of my potions, and there was no turning back now. I entered the portal calmly and went up to the Ender Dragon fight. This was it. At first, my aim felt a bit weird, but as the battle progressed, I became more and more confident. My aim was incredible. Most of my shots were accurate, but the Ender Dragon was too fast for me. I had to get rid of the end crystals before it was too late. All my bow shots were pretty accurate until the end. I had a massive struggle trying to get one of them. I fired my bow, and there it was, the final end crystal. I glanced around and there was no more to be destroyed. It was time for the Ender Dragon fight itself. The Ender Dragon was quick, but not quick enough. In fact, I was able to get a small glass of its dragon breath. It came down to the middle and I attacked its tail. This was the easiest way I was going to get rid of this. Luckily for me, it came down again and I was able to finish off the battle. There it was, the Ender Dragon, disintegrating in front of my eyes. I felt victorious.
Wait. Guys, can you believe how much XP? Look. Like, guys, if you didn't know that, he was at 34 XP. Look at the bottom, at the green line. Right here. And now he's at 62.
I grabbed the egg, and look at that smile on my face. I was happy, but not happy enough.
67
I needed
more.
elytras. I went
Wow.
into the end city and looked around. After a while of exploring, I found one, and I was scared it didn't have a bow, until I glanced over to the left, and there it was, the end ship. This contains an elytra, which would change the whole way I could move around in this game. I swung my pickaxe and got entry under the bow. I was able to take...
Guys, if you don't know, elytras can help you fly, and it can help you, like it makes it a lot more easier, but be careful. Because if you go too high and then you just slam yourself into a block, you're gonna die. Okay, guys, so elytras are actually a little helpful, but not that helpful.
Take the elytras and also some valuables in the chests. I equipped the elytras and debated whether I should leave the end city, but no, I needed to loot it. The shulker boxes that were in the end city were too good to pass by, but after that, I then decided to head home. There it was, day 66, I had the Ender Dragon head. I placed it on an armor stand and gave it some clothes. Day 67, I used that time to enchant some more and got a sword. And day 68, well, I had elytras. And I got a bit too excited. From day 69 to 74, this is my time to build. I had a bunch of
Yeah, I would be overexcited too.
creativity that I need to let out. So I built a bridge from my house all the way to the farm island. I also built a bit of a better house for the cows and some cool pathways. I also made space for a potato farm and also a wheat farm.
Yeah, he needs fruits and yeah.
And also, because enemy creatures were able to get on my island, I built a massive wall surrounding it. And there it was, by
Guys, if you agree with me, he's pretty good and you like his house. And guys, plus hardcore is very hard, so
day 74, I was really happy with my base, the outside and the inside. I pretty much had everything I need, but I wasn't finished yet. I had 2 other goals to get done, the netherite and also the wither. These weren't going to be easy, so I got to work. Well, now was the time for me to prepare for my next goal, and that would be the wither battle. So to start day 75, I went through and enchanted a sword to try and get looting, because to get wither heads, you need really good luck or you need a really good sword. After using plenty of XP and lapis, I was able to get a looting too, but it wasn't good enough. But I had to deal with it. Being only level 28, I wasn't able to do another level 30 enchant, so I decided to go into the nether with a looting 2 and test my luck. As I entered the nether portal, I went straight to the fortress and was able to pick up my first witherhead pretty quickly. But between days 77 and 84, I spent a very, very long time attempting to get all of the witherheads. I battled plenty of angry withers and was getting unlucky every single time. This left me with only one thing to do. After exploring the fortress and realizing this looting 2 wasn't going to cut it anymore, I went back to do some more enchanting. Seeing as all I had to do was get 2 looting 2s to combine to a looting 3, and then combine the 2 looting 2s to make a looting 3, that's what I did. I got to level 14 and was just about able to do the upgrade. I now had a looting 3 sword at my disposal. And from there on, it seemed like the withers didn't want to stop dropping the witherheads. I got all of the witherheads I needed really, really fast, but I wasn't done with the nether yet. Between days 91 and 97, I decided to go for netherite. I thought maybe if I could get a netherite sword, the wither battle would be easier, so I tried to get as much netherite as I could. Seeing as I was tight for time, I was only able to get a certain amount. That certain amount being 8 pieces of ancient debris. With 8 pieces of ancient debris, you're able to make 2 pieces of netherite ingots, which was good enough for a pickaxe upgrade and a sword upgrade. I was debating whether I should upgrade my armor, but I realized pretty quickly it was way better to upgrade my pickaxe and sword, seeing as these had decent enchants. Before I knew it, it was day 99. I spent this day preparing for the wither fight. I was able to get hold of some strength potions I had from the Ender Dragon fight left over, made some arrows, and I was ready to go. I dug in one straight line, drunk my strength potion, and I was ready to go. All I had to do was place the last witherhead. And there it was. The witherhead was placed, and it was spawned. If anything was to go wrong, not only would I be out of the game, but the wither also has explosive projectiles, meaning if it was to get up to my base, the whole entire island that I had would be gone. But thankfully, I had the effects of the strength 2 keeping me going, and the wither was out the game before I knew it. And there it was. The nether star was gripped in my hands, so I went straight back to my base to craft it into a beacon. I placed the nether star right in the center of the crafting bench, and there it was. I placed the beacon in my inventory, and it was day 100. To finish off day 100, I put my beacon on my island, equipped its speed to it, and that was it. I stood on my bridge and gazed at the sun. That was it. The 100 days survived. On hardcore. All in one life. To be honest, there's a bunch more stuff I want to get done, so if you guys want to see another 100 days, then let me know down below in the comments. But apart from that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and peace.
let's see if we can find a 200 days, guys. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, 1,000 days. 1 block. Oh, here it is, guys. Guys, there it is. I'm watching on a different, like another person watched it and I didn't watch it yet. Like, I wish I could download YouTube Premium, but it's so much money.
Make it even more special with the hazelnut
Plus,
and cocoa taste of Nutella. Nutella, wake up to wow.
come on.
New Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash helps strengthen your skin because men put their skin through a lot. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash is new and improved with skin strengthening moisturizers that rebuild your dry skin with every shower.
Okay, guys, this is 200 days.
In this video, I'm going to attempt to survive 200 days in Hardcore Minecraft. This is what I was able to do in 100 days of Hardcore Minecraft, and I'm interested to see what 200 days will look like. But before we do, here are some of the things we did in 100 days. I equipped myself with full diamond armor, had an intense battle with the Ender Dragon, crafted a netherite sword and pickaxe, and defeated the Wither. So, I mean, with that being said, here are some things I want to try and achieve in 200 days. I want to obtain enough ancient debris to turn all of my tools into netherite. And, well, of course, if we are going to craft all of our tools into netherite, we are going to need the best of the best enchantments. So I guess I'll add that on the list as well. Another thing I want to do is get enough valuables to build a full max level beacon. And the final thing I want to do is defeat an ocean monument. But apart from that, let the 200 days begin.
Guys, if you don't know, ocean monuments are very, very hard to beat. So, if you have full diamond armor and chance, you're gonna be a... Okay, not... Oh, not...
Our journey begins directly from where we last left off. I was back on my island, and the first thing I decided to do was go and say hi to my cows. I was really hoping they would be excited to see me, and well, to my surprise, they were over the moon. As cool as it was to look around my island again, and even say hello to my cows, I couldn't let that distract me from what really needed to be done on day 101. I knew as soon as I was diving back in to do another 200 days, I would need villagers, and I would need a lot of them. So I checked my chest and saw I only had one piece of iron. I would need iron for a bunch of rail carts to be able to transport the villagers all the way over from the village to my base. It would be a very difficult task to do, but it was needed. I mined in one straight line for quite some time, coming across all of the valuables I could think of, but the only thing I needed was iron, so I kept going until I stumbled across an abandoned ravine. I hadn't been here before, but I knew for sure it looked unsafe. As long as I got the iron I needed and got out of there, I would be fine, right? Well, that's what I thought. Until, as I was mining for the iron, strange creatures were trying to run at me and attack me. I was able to fend them off for a while and get the iron I needed, but something unimaginable happened. A brand new enemy I hadn't seen before. The flying creeper. And it wasn't only one flying creeper. To my surprise, there was two of these things. I need to get this iron, and I have to get out of here. Oh, this is dangerous. I knew I had to get the iron quick, but I just couldn't help myself. There was too many diamonds. Yes, we got more diamonds. With the power of Fortune 3, I was quickly able to turn these 2 diamonds into 3, and I was able to get all the iron I needed. I checked my inventory and saw that I had stacks on stacks of iron, so I decided to leave it there and go home for day 101. I was so happy to be back on my island, and I got a good night's rest ready for day 102. Surprisingly, day 102 was a lot less action-packed than day 101. I pretty much chopped trees until the sun set, and I got a bunch of sticks ready to craft all of the rails I would need. It became nighttime really quickly, so I headed back to my base and got ready for day 103, where I basically spent all of my gold and all of my iron on rails. I then equipped my elytras and went flying out to find the village again. I sort of knew where it was, so I headed in the direction to find the village, and there it was. I was inside the village and I prepared the rails. I didn't have enough rails to go straight to my base, so I did have to keep going back, destroying rails and pretty much reusing them. This took ages. Now, getting the villagers back to my base actually took a lot longer than I expected, and the reason for that is because every time I accidentally broke the minecart or something, the villagers did not want to cooperate. They would run as far away from the minecart as possible, and it was getting really hard to keep them under control. But when I was bringing the villagers back to my base, one of them wanted to speak to me and tell me about something. I found this rather interesting, and I guess I'll tell you guys what he wanted me to tell you about, so here we go. He told me to tell you guys how there is only a limited time left on the Halloween event on my server, so guys, if you haven't already joined, make sure you do so, because when this event ends, there will be a brand new one, and I'm sure you guys don't want to miss out. So join the survival experience right now, but without further ado, let's get these villagers back to my base. Now, another thing I will add on getting these villagers back to my base, there was so many mobs on the way, and seeing as I didn't bring a bed with me, the mobs were getting out of control. But thankfully, by day 107, I was able to get all the villagers down in my base. I was super excited, and all of that hard work was over. I didn't have to go back to the village ever again. I could breed the villagers right here. I was super happy until this happened. No, no, no! Oh no. There's a villager in the nether. This is not good. This is not good. Where did it go? No, it's gone. Where is the villager gone? All of that hard work, and it's gone. There's no way I forgot to block off the nether portal. I've got to go and do that all again. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that's just happened. Seeing as I had already brought 2 villagers from the village back to my base, getting the third one there was pretty easy. I patched up my base, and I learned from my mistakes and blocked off the nether portal as well. Anyway, this was it. I had the 2 villagers in my base, so I threw them some potatoes and tried to get them to breed. By day 110, we had another villager in the base. Up to this point, I was doing some pretty advanced stuff, and I forgot about the basics, you know, farming and even breeding my cows. So that's what I ended up doing for day 110, but then I thought, I can't just let the villagers live in my base. They need their own home, so that's where I dived into the depths of the nether to try and get some resources to build them a base. I saw this green wood, and I liked the look of it, so that's basically what I spent the other half of day 110 doing. I got a bunch of building resources, and I kind of had a good idea of what I should do for the villager's home. Oh, and not to mention, on the way back home, I found an old friend, the mending villager. But he didn't want to go back through the portal, so I decided to make him his own luxury mansion. Just kidding, I put him somewhere else. I guess he liked it there. Anyway, I got some glowstone and more building resources, and I was ready for day 111, where I was going to build the villagers the best home they had ever seen. I spent days crafting a brand new home for the villagers. I really wanted them to like it, and I wanted it to feel like home, so I built this big area where they can all meet up and most importantly do their trades. I also created multiple holes in the walls. This would be a place where I could store the villagers that have the best trades, so I don't end up losing them or muddling them up with the other villagers. Before I knew it, I was completely done making the villagers' brand new home, and by day 116, it was time to move all the villagers in to their brand new home. I transported them down, and take a second to look at the smiles on their faces. They were very happy, so I decided to give them some potatoes, but I thought one thing was missing. It didn't feel enough like home for them, so I decided to bring down a bunch of beds. After moving them in, I created a bunch of bone meal because I thought I would need a bunch of potatoes if I actually wanted the villagers to breed. So I spent a lot of day 117 farming for a bunch of potatoes. I was able to get quite a lot of potatoes, and I decided then to bring them down into the villagers' home and throw all of the potatoes at them to see if they would breed. And to my surprise, they did. By 118, we had a brand new villager. I made some workbenches as well to see if I could get lucky with a mending book. It did take quite a lot of time to try and get the trades I wanted, and after a bunch of terrible enchanted books, I was super excited that I had a mending villager right under my base. And one of the villagers escaped, so I guess I have one just roaming around my base now. One of the villagers became a farmer. They were doing 26 potatoes for 1 emerald, and this was amazing. I was able to use all my bone meal, regrow up all of the potatoes, and basically have an infinite supply of emeralds. I'm hoping that maybe with these emeralds I can get an emerald beacon eventually, but for now I was focusing on the mending book. I went back down to that villager, sold all of my potatoes for emeralds, and was getting a step closer to having a mending book, and I wanted to use this mending book on my elytras. Eventually I was able to get enough emeralds, went up, crafted a book, headed over to the villager, and they were happy to do the trade for the mending book. I then put the mending book on the elytras, and I then had a mending elytra. For day 119, I decided it was time to plan my next adventure. I wanted to explore the nether, so I went out and got a bunch of creepers to get gunpowder to make a bunch of fireworks so I could fly freely around the nether and explore it as much as I wanted. By the end of day 120, I had a bunch of gunpowder that I turned into fireworks and decided it was time to go to my next adventure, the nether. I spent some time mending up my elytra and decided it was then time to venture around the nether. I had a bunch of fireworks, really good durability on my elytras, so I was ready. I flew all around the nether to see what I could find and came across this interesting broken down building. I decided to give it a deeper look and see what I could get from the inside. I was in this sculpture and surprised how easy it was. There was not really any threats from the inside and thought nothing could go wrong, but that wasn't the case at all. I got ambushed by a bunch of piglings sabotaging me from all directions. I needed to get out. My heart's got low. Probably the lowest they've been throughout the 120 days I've survived so far. I was there, on 2.5 hearts, no totem of undying, and no way I could get out of this. Luckily, I was able to block off the entrances of the piglings and was able to heal up a little bit. This was very scary, and I also made a very beginner mistake. I didn't even have my chestplate on. I forgot to take off the elytras. With the chest plate on, I was able to take a little bit more damage, but I did find these chests. But there was 2 piglins guarding these. After I had dealt with the piglins, I went to see what rewards were waiting for me in the chests.
You know the stories. But what if one thing...
Get out of here, Ed.
The loot that I had found in the chests weren't that good, so I decided to keep exploring around the nether to see if I could find another one of these things and see if I could get any better loot. As I was looking around, I did manage to stumble across another one. I calmly climbed up it and saw that there was some gold blocks awaiting me up ahead. But also some foes as well. I looked down the centre of this thing and I knew it wasn't going to be easy to try and get the loot from inside. Although I did manage to find 2 chests in there and they didn't really have anything too crazy inside of them. Seeing as there was nothing too crazy in the chests, I decided to keep on exploring and I got ambushed once again. But luckily for me, the ambush wasn't nearly as bad as the last one and I was able to keep this one under control. After finding my way through this abandoned structure, I made my way to the centre, where I was able to see a spawner and also destroy it. But more importantly, there was so many valuable golden blocks, and even to my surprise, I checked the chest and I could not believe my eyes. Ancient debris and netherite from one single chest. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Once I'd placed the ancient debris and netherite in my inventory, I decided it was time to go home. I couldn't risk going to any more of these structures, and thought it would be best if I was just to go back to my base, so that is exactly what I did. Although, with some of the damage I'd taken on the way back, most of my armor was completely destroyed, which made me want to get some more, and I kinda wanted it to be netherite armor this time. I managed to find another enchanted diamond helmet in my storage room, so I used this temporarily. Even though I found this helmet, it wasn't good enough, so I decided to go mining for some diamonds to see if I could get diamond armor and then convert it over to netherite. But as I was going mining, I heard a strange noise. To my surprise, it was a skeleton spawner. This was perfect. This meant infinite bone meal and infinite arrows. I took my opportunity to clear this thing out, and in the future, I would definitely be making this into an XP farm. For the rest of day 124, I went to go and get some ancient debris. Seeing as my armor was pretty much all destroyed at this point, I needed to get netherite to make netherite armor. I thought mining for ancient debris would be the safest way, so that's exactly what I did. I went down to the ancient debris layer, and I found so much ancient debris. It was like I couldn't stop finding ancient debris. It only took me a couple of days before I had all the ancient debris I would need to make a full set of armor and even some tools. Everything was going amazing, and by the end of day 126, I had all of the ancient debris I would need, but I couldn't use it yet, so I decided to craft it and store it up in my storage room for now. To begin day 127, I went farming and even traded with some of my farmer villagers. I needed to start getting a collection of emeralds to spend on the books that the librarians had. For the other half of day 127 and a few days afterwards, I decided to get all the diamonds I would need to make a full set of diamond armor again, and then once I had the diamond armor, I could obviously turn it into netherite. So mining diamonds is exactly what I did for the next few days. By day 129, I smelted all of my valuables and had enough diamonds for another set of diamond armor. I also took some time to take a glance at the diamond armor I was already wearing. The enchants I had on my leggings were pretty much perfect, so I decided I only need to enchant a helmet, a chestplate, and some boots. So that's when I spent the next few days trying to get a protection 4 book and an unbreaking 3 book from villagers. It took quite some time, but I was able to do it in the end, and I was extremely happy. For day 136, I decided to make a fletching table and also place around a bunch of composters to get some more farmers. I did this because for day 137, I decided to build a farm. With all of the stuff I would be able to get from this farm, it would basically give me the opportunity to get unlimited emeralds. So over the next few days, I built this farm. And it was a pretty good extension onto the island as well. By day 141, I decided to repair my shovel and head to the farm to start planting all of the crops. I then went down to the skeleton spawner to get a bunch of bones so I could get some bone meal to speed up the growing process on all of my plants. I also spent some time chopping down trees so I could get sticks to sell to the Fletcher for emeralds. For most of the next few days, I spent the time in the farm. I thought if I was able to get a bunch of emeralds quickly, I could buy all the books I would need and be able to have the best gear I could ask for. Oh, and when I say I went farming, I really mean I went farming. I kept on getting all of my potatoes and then heading back over to the villages to sell it. I also did this with wheat. I was able to get to a point where I could go over to the librarian and purchase some of the mending books. I put the mending books on my armor and even some of the tools, and not to mention the 2 unbreaking 3 books I bought for my axe and my shovel as well. While I was enchanting, I also didn't have enough XP levels, so I did have to head into the nether to get some XP, but once I had done that, I had all of the best enchants on the tools that I needed, and even turned them into netherite. I enjoyed farming so much that for the rest of day 150 onwards, I built a massive extension onto the island, one that would change the...
Guys, guess what? my 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 YouTuber channel, my editor told me that not most of my viewers are not subscribed yet, so if you haven't done it, hit that subscribe button. And please leave a like. As always, my like goal is 3 likes. And guys, my subscriber goal is 11 now, okay? So guys, please hit that subscribe button. It only takes a few minutes every day. Just takes 10 seconds. 1 second actually. 1 second. And yeah, pretty much. Let's continue.
The game forever. With this massive amount of land, I could have so many crops growing at once that I would just have an unlimited source of emeralds. The villagers were always happy to trade with me because I would always bring them so many gifts. While I was waiting for villagers to breed, I thought this would be a perfect time to prepare for an ocean monument battle. I needed a pufferfish so I could get some potions, and I got one by the end of day 154. I headed into my base and started brewing up some potions. These would be needed for the ocean monument battle. Not only did I make water-breathing potions, I also made night vision potions so I could see under the water when I was there. I also went back down to my villagers, sold everything I could for emeralds because when I wanted to take on the ocean monument, I know I would be needing the best gear I could get my hands on. So for this reason, I spent the next few days spending all of my emeralds on the librarian books. I picked up some protection books and also some unbreaking books as well. I went ahead and merged the enchanted book with the armor piece. I had my helmet enchanted with all of the best enchants. I even had my chest plate enchanted with all of the best enchants as well. But when it got to the boots, again, I ran out of XP, so I needed to head back to the nether to go and mine a bunch of quartz so I could get up to the level I needed. After breaking a bunch of quartz and getting XP, I was able to do the enchant on my boots, and there it was. Once I was able to put all of the enchants on, I individually handcrafted every piece of armor into netherite. I felt powerful and I was ready to take on an ocean monument. It was day 166. I sold my last final potatoes before setting off to the ocean monument. I was a little bit nervous to go to the ocean monument, but I knew with my overpowered armor, I would be able to take it out just fine. I did some last final preparation by getting buckets of milk that I could drink if I was to get any of the bad effects over at the ocean monument. Now, it was time. I threw my Eye of Ender, and I knew that if I kept following the direction it told me to go, I would soon go past the ocean monument. I remembered this from the last time I went to the stronghold, so instead of wasting emeralds on buying a map to get over to the ocean monument, I just used my memory from the last time I went to the stronghold and past the ocean monument. I glanced over at the ocean monument. If one thing was to go wrong here, my whole world would be gone. I did one last check over my inventory to make sure I had everything, and it was time. I drank my potion of night vision, and then I drank my potion of water breathing. I got everything ready, and I dived into the depths of the ocean to take on this ocean monument. It was extremely intimidating, and I did go over to one of the guardians to test how much damage it did. It only did a roundabout heart, so I knew I was safe from these. But these weren't what I had to be scared of. There was something way more dangerous on the inside of this ocean monument, and I was scared to face it, but it had to be done.
You started with yoga for beginners, but now you've moved into advanced inversions. Unlock your...
I briefly explored around the ocean monument to know where to go and where not to go in an emergency situation. But before I knew it, I was face to face with one of the scariest foes I've ever encountered. The Outer Guardian. Luckily for me, I was too fast for the Outer Guardian. It was too big and slow, so I was able to use my bow to my advantage and quickly jump behind a wall if needs be. Things were getting intense, but with the last final bow shot, I took it out. I went over to collect the loot it dropped, and it gave a sponge. I knew somewhere else in this ocean monument there would be a whole room filled with sponge, and before I knew it, that's exactly what I found. Oh, and these jump scare things are actually pretty scary. As I crept round another corner, I was face to face with an Outer Guardian once again, but this was different. It had a bunch of minions guarding it. I was able to pick my bow shots and get quite close to the Guardians and do some sword damage, but there I was, once again, face to face with another Outer Guardian, and I knew after this one, there would only be one more left. Before I knew it, I had taken care of that Outer Guardian way faster than I imagined. It was now on to the final Outer Guardian. Once I got rid of this, I was free to take any of the loot from the ocean monument I wanted, without worrying about mining fatigue. Here it was, the final Outer Guardian. If I was able to get rid of this, I could claim the ocean monument to be mine and collect all the goodies from inside. I felt victorious. I'd got rid of all the outer guardians around and was able to claim all the blocks inside for myself. I got all of the sponge and even some dark prismarine as well. Oh, and let's not forget the sea lanterns. I had won another battle, but I had so many days left and there was so much I wanted to do. One thing I wanted to do was build a max level beacon, but I can't just put a max level beacon anywhere. I had to build an island extension just for this beacon. So that's exactly what I did. By day 175, I placed the beacon right on top of all of the blocks I had gathered over time. I had some iron, I had some gold, and even some emerald blocks I got from trading. But probably, before 300 days, I would like to mine a full diamond beacon. Before I knew it, it was day 176, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do before day 200, and let's just say, I wanted to beat another boss. That's right, I wanted to take on the Ender Dragon once again. I had already done it once in 100 days, and I wanted to prove myself again by doing it in 200 days, so I looked around the nether for quite some time to try and find some ghast tears. This would be needed to respawn the Ender Dragon into the world. Between days 177 to 185, I spent trying to get ghast tears, and got pretty much unlucky the whole time. Until one single ghast dropped 4 ghast tears. This was amazing. I could go back to my base and get ready to fight the Ender Dragon for a second time. To end off day 186, I surrounded the crafting table in glass, put the Eye of Enders in the centre, and put the ghast tears on the bottom. I then directly placed all end crystals into my inventory and got ready for day 187, where I would set sail into the ocean to try and find the stronghold for the second time. It took multiple days to make my way back over to the stronghold. But on day 194, I found the remains of some cobblestone I placed the last time I was over here. I used this entrance to make my way back into the stronghold. This time I took no hesitation and dived right into the end portal. It was time to prove myself. I slowly placed each end crystal directly where it needed to be. It was time to face the Ender Dragon once again. One by one, the obsidian towers began to summon themselves once again. I awaited the dragon's arrival.
Guys, the music is pretty good, I can say.
And before I knew it, I elytred straight on top of one of the obsidian towers. I knew if I was at high ground, I'd be able to take each tower out one by one. With the elytras, I felt unstoppable this time. Getting rid of the end crystals on the obsidian towers was no worries, so I decided to head to the centre where the Ender Dragon was, and started dealing some serious damage. For most of the fight, I was on the same level as the Ender Dragon, gliding around with my elytras, but before I knew it, I was completely out of rockets, and eventually out of arrows.
I'm out of blocks, baby.
I kept having to wait till the Ender Dragon came to the centre so I could deal some damage with my sword.
That's a lot of damage. You know it's like impossible to die that.
And there it was. Once again, I saw the Ender Dragon disintegrate in front of my eyes. I didn't get as much XP this time, but I still felt victorious. I proved myself for a second time and gazed over at a second portal that had been opened in return for me getting rid of the Ender Dragon for the second time. I would save this for 300 days.
Damage.
After getting some rest on day 199, I didn't have too much time left and it was already day 200. So for this day, I did small decorations on the island which I kept the beacon. But before I knew it, it was day 200. There I was. I had survived another 200 days in hardcore. I felt accomplished. Honestly, there's a bunch more stuff I want to get done in 300 days, so let me know if you guys want to see that. But apart from that, thank you guys all so much for watching, and there is another 200 days.
Guys, Gamer HD, please subscribe, and then also shout out to Fa. Subscribe to his channel too. His goal is to get to 1.40 million subscribers. Help him to that goal, and my goal, 11 subscribers. As always, leave a like and subscribe. Bye.